And we've been talking, and we do have a guest in the studio.
Very much.
Yes.
And actually, to be very honest, a very, very important person at that, someone who's been in the country's forefront of the basically government press for long enough to actually be working there, being basically head of that department with 4 heads of state. That shows how much of an impact he has actually created there. It's time for me and Sherry to welcome Mr. Neville Nanayakkara on the show. Very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning
to you. Good morning.
Actually, looking at your profile, it's an unbelievable one at that, because talking of everything, and when you take governments and opposition and all that, being head of a particular department for 24 long years, that shows the commitment you have had towards the department and towards probably making it a better place for everyone out there. How was it like, the experience at the government press?
Well, it was, I think it's really interesting, because you see, usually when you are in the government department, nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not my life.
Very true.
I want things to change. So in '81, I became the government printer. My first thought is, how do I make a change, which will bring joy to me, to my workers, and also will create an impact for the country. That was how the 24 years went.
Okay.
As the government printer.
Pretty interesting
It
stuff.
passed by years.
So how was your experiences there at the government press?
Well, when I became the government printer in '81, everybody knew what government press was. Government printing department was more commonly known as the government press, because that was the organization for strikes.
Right.
Every 3 months there's a strike,
Right.
and they were strong enough to change governments. And by becoming the head of such an organization, I knew my life is going to be very short, because I was the 3rd government printer since independence. Right? There was even after independence, for a certain number of years, foreigners were the government printers, because it was considered as a highly technical subject. And the first government printer, while in service, died having a heart attack, because when he heard that the order paper is not ready today, it's not going to the parliament will not be able to sit today, he had a heart attack and he died. And then the second government printer, he was there, and he retired a bit prematurely, and he too died inside the government press premises.
Right.
And I am the 3rd in line. I thought I should do something, unless I want to go to the grave like my 2 predecessors. Of course, when it was run by the foreigners, that was a tough this thing. No, whatever they say, you have to do. But then things, after independence, things changed. And I think the first change I did was change in the technology. Printing was a highly specialized art. Somebody to be in the printing, you have to be trained for about 10 years. And I thought I would change the technology and went on to computers.
Right.
And that did a massive change. And somebody could be trained within 3 or 4 months to handle that subject. So they lost a certain amount of the backing they had, because they knew that nobody else can do it. But now, once the technology comes, they knew that others too can do it. This, right? That was one way where I handled the trade unions. And the other thing is, I introduced what are called piece rates, incentive systems, and the productivity per machine increase almost doubled. And trade union leaders, of course, did not like that, because they can't call a strike, because if you strike, then your output for the month will be low, and your take-home pay will be just the basic salary. So they found it almost impossible to call a strike with that situation. But of course, having piece rates, the country too gained, because there were a lot of profits. We went through tender procedures and got orders from commercial work that the government used to give to the private sector. And the profits went to the workers, and also certain amount of profits went to the treasury, and also went to improve the books. The traditional printings that we used to do at the garment printing department, printing garment forms, books, order papers, Hansards, gazettes and all that, I changed it and I added religious books also, because there have a lot of, mainly in the Buddhist field, there have a lot of priests who done archaeology and various fields, and they had a lot of knowledge inside them, and they write books.
And got to interrupt you, sir. Yes. It's time for us to have a look at time. On the other side, we'll continue the discussion.